I know.
So it's on the Food Network.
It's on the Food
See,
Network.
I can't watch that channel.
Why?
Because it makes me hungry.
Is this a ramp? Can we slide that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
go down.
Just too close to the end.
Just want to be closer to you guys.
Let's see, all right.
There. Can you still see us?
Are we racing here, Tom?
I think you won. Yeah, you won.
So tell me about
It's so much better. I feel like I'm with you now and not, you know.
And not hiding back there.
I wanted to be part of that trivia contest.
The one that was
Yeah. I didn't know Michael Myers had a middle name.
I didn't either. But then I guess I didn't care.
I know. I don't care either. You know why?
Why is that?
If you watch Halloween, this always bugs me. The very first scene, the girl is sitting there at the vanity, you know, and it's the killer's point of view. And then they cut to this little kid outside with a knife. All right. The killer's point of view is 7 feet tall, looking down on her. When they cut to the kid, I'm like, okay, sure, okay, now where's the real killer? What? Him? It can't be him. The point of view was 7 feet tall, looking down. Okay. Anyway, it always pisses. That's why I don't like that movie.
Hey, you know what kills me about that scene as well is, as you mentioned, it is the point of view of the kid.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this arm that's stabbing the girl is like way over here.
Yeah.
So he's got really long arms.
Well, that was his first film, right?
What's that?
That was his first film?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're allowed to make mistakes.
As long as you're not making, what, the 4th or 5th? But...
No, you should learn. You should learn to. But you know what? It always gives me up. There's a new book that came out. How's it called? I think it's Shock Value. And they talked about that scene. Somebody else. I said to myself, somebody else finally saw that. You know? Because every time I see people go, every time I say that, people go, oh yeah, you're right. You know, why don't you realize it when you're watching it? Yeah. I'm going off on a tangent here.
I think it's a suspension of disbelief kind of thing.
Yeah, but there's
but
got to have
within reason.
Yeah, right. Because this, can you hear okay? Is this mic?
Who's that?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I was holding it up here, that would be different, right?
So we're here not to talk about Halloween or Michael Myers. We're here to talk about
That's right, Gary.
So we've got a lot of people here who I'm sure have stuff to ask.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know? Yes.
Are there any projects that you, because you didn't have time, or there was some other conflict that you watched? And were there any projects that you had to pass on?
Can I have that mic?
That's how mononucleosis is spread, I think. But were there any projects you had to pass on because you had other commitments or didn't have time that you watched later and you go, you know what, I could have done a better job, or I really wish I had gotten a hold of that project because I'd have done it right?
No, I think, no, I don't think so. I think my own projects, I'd like to do some of those over again. Like Creepshow. I mean, everything I've done worked except anything I tried to do on Stephen King and Creepshow. I had a ton of glue plants, I had green eyeballs, and we couldn't get in because his reflexes were too tight. A hand that grew. Nothing I tried on him worked. And that's the only movie where my stuff failed. And normally, you know, you have 3 or 4 times, you know, you take after take to get it right. But no, we just couldn't get it to work on him. And I wanted to impress this guy, you know, it's Stephen King. But he was impressed enough. But no, maybe Pet Sematary. I was supposed to direct Pet Sematary. I didn't get that. But I still love the movie, you know. And I was supposed to be the villain in The Mark of Zorro with Antonio Banderas. But Robert Rodriguez was directing it, so but he pulled away. So, but I love that movie too. So you know, I have no regrets. Really. You know, it takes a lot to disappoint me. Anybody else? No? Okay. Well, thanks for coming. Way back there.
In your book, Grand Illusions, book 1.
Did you just get out of bed?
She looks that way. He needs a pipe.
No, I'm just talking about your bathroom.
Sorry, sir. It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Savini, and I'm really happy to see you.
Thank you.
And I'm really happy to be here today.
You know what? We believe you.
Take a deep breath.
I totally believe you.
I have a question to ask you about when you were doing live casts of your actor when you were first getting started. Did you use plaster or did you use like alginate?
Well, I made so many mistakes. Plaster. You know, not thinking you better put some Vaseline on their eyebrows or something. And I did it to my ex-wife. before we got married, sealed her head into a block of plastic. You know, it took forever. She lost all her eyebrows, well, most of her eyebrows. Her eyelashes were gone. You know, and it was a big mess. You know, but that's I learned the hard way. But yeah, we use alginate now. You know. Anybody else? Yeah, over there. Yeah.
First of all, wonderful to meet you formally, finally. My question's related to a lot of your makeup special effects signatures. Throughout time, you did a lot of things that people looked at.
Like blowing heads off.
Particularly, actually, the exploding head is what I'm going to ask about. Dawn of the Dead, I know that it was originally written to have a different scene with the exploding head, and that you then got to use it later. Could you walk us through how you came to design the exploding head so well?
Well, first of all, that's Galen Ross's head. We cast Galen Ross for her big death scene, which, you know, George decided to have a happy ending for Dawn of the Dead instead of everybody getting killed. Which they, you know, Ken Forey was supposed to kill himself. Galen Ross was supposed to jump up into the helicopter blades, you know. And we actually shot her body falling away from the blades, but we never. Before we got to kill her, George decided to do a happy ending. So I took her head that we made of her. And I made it like a black person with an afro hairdo, you know, back in the 70s, that's where the hair was, you know. And I filled that with just rubbers filled with blood. And the effects guy, the mechanical effects guy, the special effects guy that did most of the squibs before we fired him, okay. On press night, he was running around the hotel in his underwear, shooting a machine gun down the hallway of the hotel. So we had to fire him. But then I started doing the squibs. I did the squibs after that. But before that, he thought he could blow up the head with explosives inside of it, okay? So on action, the head went boom. You know, it just expanded and yeah, that was it. I said, give me that goddamn head. I took a shotgun, you know, just blew it off with a shotgun. Now he went on to do the effects on scanners. So that's a beautiful head explosion, but he used a shotgun, you know, because he saw what I did on Dawn of the Dead. But that's really what it was. I didn't know what the shotgun was going to do, and it took off the head completely. So I did the same thing on Maniac when I blew my own head off in the car. That was great fun, by the way. In New York, you're not allowed to fire a gun in New York. It's the Sullivan Law. It's a 5-year mandatory sentence. So we went out and stole that shotgun. On the bridge. 60 seconds after I blew my head off, we were all gone. The cops came, there was nobody there.
Now, Tom, you've done special effects, stunt work, acting, directing.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference, or is it something that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do effects anymore for a living. You know, I'm just doing acting and directing. I'm in Quentin Tarantino's Western that's coming out, Django Unchained.
Yeah.
I'm in the sequel. It's Leonardo DiCaprio, Sam Jackson, Christoph Waltz, Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is Django. The D is silent, if you've seen the preview. I'm in the sequel to Machete. It's called Machete Kills.
Yeah.
A movie called Machete Kills Again. That's the third one, okay? But the beginning of Machete Kills starts with a preview of Machete Kills Again. And it takes place in outer space. Oh, wait a minute. I'm saying way too much. But what else? Django, Machete Kills. I'm in Perks of a Wallflower. It's in the theaters right now.
Yeah.
Anybody see that? No? Oh, you did? Okay, great. And what else? Halloween Wars. I'm sorry? Say it again? The Fourth Reich. No, we've been talking to those people for 5 years. You know, hey, we're getting close. We're going to be shooting next month. And I hear that every year. Okay, so I mean, I'd love to do the movie. I can't wait to put on a Nazi uniform, but no. It's not happening, as far as I know. Is that a head way back there, or are you just? Oh no, he's wrapping up coal. Okay. Yeah, right there. Yeah. We can probably hear you. Okay.
I'd rather just wait.
Okay, we're actually videotaping this.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
What's your favorite film that you've actually worked on, like acting-wise?
Acting-wise, it's kind of hard to beat Dusk Till Dawn. George Clooney, the nicest man I've ever met. Selma Hayek, you know. The first time I saw Selma was in the makeup room. Her back was to me. All I could see was this much of her. It was the most beautiful this much of anybody. And then she turned around and started yelling at somebody in Spanish. Whoa, you know. She's completely a sex bomb. But she's really like this. And I'm short. She's like a hero. Yeah.
I was talking to you about this year, two of mine were with Night Riders and City Dust. Night Riders were pretty intense storyline-wise. It didn't have the leader.
Yeah, Ed Harris.
Right. Can you explain what brought out the concept of being there on motorcycles and what brought about you wanting to do something like Sea of Dust?
Well, Sea of Dust was, they offered me money, a lot of money. But Night Riders was just, you know, any opportunity to work with George Romero again. Plus, to wear armor, to ride motorcycles. Forget about it. You know, because I feel like I'm living in the wrong century anyway. I need to be on a horse with a cape and a sword going around. And that was a perfect movie. Well, actually, Robin Hood, I did this Robin Hood movie in Germany, which was more like that, riding a horse with a cape, sort of like that. But Night Riders was, you know, just an opportunity to do a thing with George. It wasn't a horror movie, you know. Bill Heinzman said that Night Riders is, you know, George just wrote his own autobiography, because that's how George feels inside. Fight or yield, you know, honor, respect. Everything that Ed Harris was saying in that movie is stuff that George Romero believed in back then. But I think it came about, George was in a meeting with producers, and they were, you know, he hates meetings with the suits. George was supposed to direct the money, but he walked out of the office when they started making ridiculous suggestions. He does not tolerate fools lightly. So what I heard about Night Riders was he was in a meeting with them, and he wanted to do a medieval movie. You know, he wanted to do a period piece. And they were coming up with these dumb suggestions, and he said, and he was just joking. He said, okay, how about if I put them on motorcycles and put a rock score in them? And they were like, yeah! So that's why Night Riders happened. I did most of my stunts except the cable off when the bike flipped over.
Right.
And the guy that did do that, the handlebars bruised his thigh bones. Okay. So he was crippled for a couple of weeks in the hospital. And we did that stunt over and over again. But every time they did it after that, they saw the handlebars halfway through so they could break on the knees and the legs. No, that was, for a long time, it was my favorite movie, Night Riders. But then, you know, George has made other movies since then, so they became some of my favorites. Yeah, right there.
What type of effect do you find the hardest to make look realistic on the screen?
I'm sorry, what kind of...
effect do you find... Here's a microphone. Hi, what type of effect do you find is the hardest to make look realistic on the screen?
Oh, the hardest to make look realistic. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's not my attitude. My attitude is, when I get a script, is, you know, to make the stuff as realistic as possible, everything. So what would be the hardest? I don't know. Anybody would tell you that old age makeup was probably one of the hardest things to do. But they loved what we did to Grandpa in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. But all we did was we went and followed the Dick Smith, Dustin Hoffman makeup almost exactly and put it on the actor. You know, Dick Smith, if you don't know, is like the greatest living makeup artist on the planet. He's 90 years old. He's having difficulty remembering. If you showed him a picture of Marlon Brando in The Godfather, which he did, he doesn't know who it is anymore, you know, or he did the work. So it's kind of sad. But anybody see Argo yet?
Yeah.
No, you haven't seen Argo. Is it out?
Yeah.
Okay, Argo is about John Chambers, the makeup artist who did Planet of the Apes, and his involvement in the CIA plot. It's a true story, to rescue the hostages, 6 hostages, back from Iran, you know, and it's hilarious, as well as I bid all my, I saw it with George Clooney, Ben Affleck, Bryan Cranston. We were all at the Directors Guild Theater in New York when we watched Argo. They came out at the end, and I thanked Ben Affleck from the bottom of my heart for at first I told him that I bit all my nails off. This is the most suspenseful movie I've ever seen. and thanked him for bringing attention to John Chambers, who was a forgotten. You know, he died in a home for Hollywood, a home for in Hollywood, like the same one that like Dick Smith is in right now. But anyway, yeah, I mentioned that because we're talking about. Well, I was talking about Dick Smith and about makeup artists in general. You know, so, yeah, I was a big fan of John Chambers. He's one of my idols. Yes, way back there. Are you lying down on the floor? Oh. Hello? Oh, I see. You're waiting for the mic. Yeah, okay. We'll get you in a second over there.
What inspired you to be an actor?
What inspired me to be an actor? God. I'm sure that you and everybody in this room have seen some movie, some time, that just floored you and made you want to be involved in movies because of some magic you felt, okay? For me, it was believing. When I was around your age, I believed everything was real. I wish I could see a movie again through the eyes of an 8-year-old child. You know, what we don't realize, those of us who want to be involved in movies, is because of some magic that you experience while watching a movie, is that you kill that magic forever. You destroy that magic. That magic is gone. And it has to be replaced by the magic of creativity, in my case, with makeup artistry and stuff like that. But I wish I could see a movie again through the eyes of an 8-year-old child where they believe everything that's happening is real. I mean, that's when you really enjoy movies. And so for me, it was probably seeing a performance like James Cagney pretending to be Lon Chaney. You know, there's a conspiracy of pretending that is involved with watching movies. I mean, you probably don't think about it all the time, but just think about it. You're sitting there pretending that what you're watching is really happening. The people up on the screen are pretending that what they're doing is something that's really happening. So it's a conspiracy of pretending, but we all are totally involved with that, and that's why we enjoy it. So to answer your question, probably because I enjoyed the idea of, well, like in grade school, I was acting in plays since I was a little kid. And to become somebody else and believe that the other person is that person they're pretending to be, it's thrilling, it's just thrilling. However, it's the hardest thing there is to do, okay? You have to cry in 5 minutes. What would it take for you to emotionally gear up into a state of mind that your body actually produces tears? That's what an actor does, you know? And what if you're not in the mood? Okay, you wake up in the morning, you read your paper, you have your coffee, you're in a good mood, and you got to go someplace and pretend that your daughter was raped by a motorcycle gang. Well, what if you're not in the mood to do that? You know? You have to do it. So a professional does his job whether he feels like it or not. You know? And that's part of what's tough about acting. But maybe that's also what makes it so much fun, to get there. You know, like there's a scene in Machete Kills where, if you've seen the original Machete, I'm a horrible bad guy. You know, I crucified Cheech Marin to a cross. Now I have to come back in the new one and ask Danny Machete to be on his side. Are you kidding? This is after he tries to kill me, of course, as soon as he sees me, you know. So I have to do a very, emotional scene. I figured I'm going to have to cry to make people believe that I'm serious about wanting that my ways have changed and I want to be on Danny's side and all this, you know. So, okay, so you gear up yourself, I've got my mind is ready. You get on the set, okay, and you're ready to do the scene, and they do Michelle Rodriguez's point of view while I'm doing the scene. I got to hold it in. Okay, now they're doing Danny Trejo's point of view of me doing the scene. So now the two cameras come around to face me, and I'm worried, am I going to be there emotionally for this? I don't know. Well, let me tell you that it worked, okay? I mean, I was there, and I'm very proud of the scene. But that's part of the reward. Afterwards going, wow, I did it, I was there. I was able to bring out that emotion that in 5 minutes you have to cry and actually do it. And that's thrilling. I mean, I get the same reward when I did a makeup effect or blew off my head. It worked, so if it worked, I'm happy. So I went off on a long answer to your short question. Yeah, somebody right here had it, right in the middle there. I said I'd get back to you. Was that you? Okay. Terry, yes.
Hi, Savini.
Did you say hi, Savini?
Yes, hi, Savini.
Oh.
I adore you, Savini.
Oh,
mirrors.
mirrors.
Yes.
By the way, those were scenes from Smoke and Mirrors.
Yes.
How did you guys get that?
The trailer's on YouTube.
Oh, it is? Okay, yeah, try.
Your career has been like this amazing journey. So during the documentary, what brought back the most, the best memories for you?
Well, we showed a rough cut of that in Montreal at the Montreal Comic-Con. I thought the audience was going to be bored out of their minds because there's a lot of personal stuff, a brother of mine that was killed, just personal stuff, and I thought they would be bored by that. And I couldn't wait for something to happen, some effect to happen, to excite them, And when it was over, I did a Q&A, and I said, I'm going to cut about 15 minutes out of that, and they screamed, no. They loved the personal stuff, so it was the personal stuff that it's about. I mean, people know me from, I'm the Wizard of Gore, I'm Dr. Splatter and all that. But they don't know about the personal stuff. And then I'm thinking about it, yeah, that's what I love when I see a documentary about somebody like George Clooney or any documentary, the personal stuff, But when I read a biography, I kind of skip through the childhood because it's, I want to get to the interesting stuff, So that's what I thought the audience wanted. But no, it was the personal stuff. So we're gonna leave a lot of them there, but it was a rough cut. We're gonna put a lot more personality into the damn thing before it ever gets released. Yeah. Oh, okay. Front row. I'll get you in a second.
First, I want to congratulate you, or just say I'm amazed by your effects, especially now that you have CGI and everybody's using that. I love the fact that you've gone and done all the prosthetics and everything, and that's one thing that's amazed me about your work. The one thing I want to ask you is, what was it like working with Dario Argento? Because he's one of my favorite directors. What was it like working with him?
Where do I begin about Dario? Oh my God. First of all, he speaks no English, but we would sit down and have conversations for hours with pantomime and pictures and drawing. And, it was so much fun to chat with him without speaking Italian. Now he knows a lot of English, and I'm kind of learning Italian. I spoke Italian as a kid. I had to learn English, but I had forgotten it all. Except when I go to Rome. When I go to Rome, it comes out, so it's still in there somewhere. But when we did, well, first of all, he's opera. He's a visual stylist that has a big influence on me, especially with the stuff that I direct. But there was a scene in Trauma. Anybody see Trauma? Okay. There's a scene where he said he wanted a scene where Piper Laurie's head would come off and roll on the floor, and every time his head would come up as it rolled, he wanted her to say Nicholas. This is a severed head, and he wanted to say Nicholas, and then come to rest against the wall. Well, I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to do that? Because I don't care how good a fake head is. If you stare at it longer for 3 seconds, you know it's a fake head. Arnold Schwarzenegger's head in the mirror in The Terminator, the guy in Poltergeist in the mirror, you got to stare at that for a long time. You knew it was fake. The exception is probably Kevin Yeager's heads for Sleepy Hollow. They were fantastic heads. You can stare at those. But mostly when you see a fake head, so I got to make a what? I got to make a head roll and articulate the words Nicholas. So Piper Laurie shows up and she has claustrophobia, and we couldn't cast her head. Okay. So now how am I going to do this thing? One of the first questions here was something about time. What do I regret, or what did I have time for? Right. And I was going to say that it's absolutely 100% true that limitations make you more creative. Not enough limitations, like not enough time, not enough money, not enough people. It always forces you to think more creatively, okay? So now I've got to make Piper Laurie's head, a severed head, roll across the floor. I can't cast a head. How am I going to do this? So it's what I teach at my school. When my students come into my school, the first day they're with me, and I tell them, here's the mindset that you need to have as a special makeup effects artist. And the mindset is, what do I need to see to make me believe that what I'm seeing is really happening? What do I need to see to make me believe that what I'm seeing is really happening? And that translates into, okay, now what do I have to show people to make them believe that what they're seeing is really happening? And then you create the pieces, okay? So in Piper Laurie's case, I can make a head come off a body, It doesn't have to be her head, put a wig on it, So that's what I did, you know. It took 17 takes for the damn head to leave the body and roll. So after it's rolling, I knew I could cut into something, you know. So the mindset made me think, okay, what do I need to see? I need to see her head rolling and saying the word Nicholas. Okay, I took her own head, her real head, and I glued an appliance on her neck to make her own head look like a severed head. And from the appliance down, I painted it black, and she wore black. And I sat her on a bar stool that would spin like this, okay? And then I had them take the floor and build it upright on wheels. So I could wheel the floor behind her while she turned, you know, like this, and said, Nicholas. Nicholas, okay? And we turned the camera upside down. So their head looked like it was upside down with a severed piece, a jagged edge. So part of the illusion is if you see an upside down head, you can't imagine that a body would be attached to it. So that was part of it. So, and we did it in slow motion, we did it in fast motion. So I'm doing this, and Dario comes in, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's supposed to be a head on the floor, and she's sitting there. I said, no, Dario, watch this. And we showed him a test, and he saw it, and he goes, Savini. You're a volcano of the mind. But I think he is a volcano of the mind. You know? So we call each other, he had an Italian expression for it that means volcano of the mind. We called each other that for the rest of the time. But that what I just explained to you does not come out of any kind of genius or anything. It just comes out of that mindset that I'm trying to get my students to adapt. What do I need to see to make people believe it? And you create the pieces, you know. And if it's a film, it is pieces, okay? So it works. Anyway, another long answer here. Yes. Oh, did I? Right there. I'll get you in a second. In a second. Oh, sorry. I promised this guy. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, dear.
Hey, how's it going? Is it true that you were inspired by A Man of a Thousand Faces? If so,
absolutely, yeah.
If so, like what aspects of that movie stand out to you?
Man of a Thousand Faces is about Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney was a silent movie actor, makeup artist, did the Family Opera. He created the first Hunchback, you know. And that's what the movie is about, his life. And James Cagney played Lon Chaney. Well, don't forget, before I saw that movie, I'm believing that everything is real, the Frankenstein Wolfman. So I see that movie and it's like, oh yeah, of course, somebody has to create the monsters. So that's what happened. I decided that very day that I'm going to be one of the guys that creates the monsters. So, I mean, but why did that movie mess me up so bad? I could have seen that as a kid like any other movie, then move on and see another movie, Creatures of. But why did that change my life? I have no idea, except that I think I'm Lon Chaney in a previous life. I mean, what else? Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, good, I'll buy that. Because I do believe in previous lives and future lives.
How do you feel about the internet's role in allowing people to make movie quality films and distribute it themselves?
Well, okay. I went to England a couple of years ago and hooked up with a director who directed me in a movie called Forsaken Forest. Okay, and he was at a premiere of a movie that he made specifically for cell phones. Okay, that's what I said. What? Really? That's happening? You know? And I believe it because I have a Galaxy S3. I can shoot a movie on this phone that would look fantastic. You know? Because it's not about the equipment. It's about what you can come up with, what your imagination tells you, story-wise. Okay. The equipment just lets you go and create it and make it. So, you know, you can make a movie out of toast. I don't care. If I get it, it's a good one. I like it. You know? I appreciate all talent. You know, I appreciate any kind of talent. I haven't seen a lot of them, except, you know, some of them on YouTube. And some of them are mind-blowing, you know, and some of them, my God, why did I just waste my time? You know? So, but it's like anything else, there's good and there's bad, so, yeah. Who am I missing? Way back there, Derek. Yeah, way back there.
Hi, Mr. Savini. Quick question for you. How has your military experience affected your artwork?
Well, good question, you know, because people think that my interest in gore came out of being a combat photographer in Vietnam, which I was. You know, I saw horrible shit. But no, my interest began when I was 11 years old in Man of a Thousand Faces. Vietnam was a lesson in anatomy for me. You know, I saw the real stuff. And I think that's where my reputation comes from. Because when I was in Vietnam, part of what kept me sane was from behind the camera, looking at it and thinking, how would I create that? How would I? So for me, everything has to be anatomically correct. You know, I get letters from kids, 16 years old, they glued a couple of blobs of foam rubber to their head and they pour blood on it, you know. And it's on a letterhead, Joe Blow's Special Makeup Effects Studio. He knows nothing, okay, right? You know? And it's certainly not anatomically correct, you know. And he's 16, so. But yeah, it has to be anatomically correct for me to, you know, to do it. So that's what the military experiences did. It just was a lesson in anatomy. I've seen the real thing. People die with smiles on their faces sometimes. They die with one eye open, one eye closed. And this is what it pisses me off about movies, when somebody dies, okay? You're dying in my arms, right? And I'm giving you a cigarette and you're coughing up blood, you know? And when you finally die, you go, you know, with this nice little expression on your face. No, because they wouldn't look good for the camera when they die. No, the jaw is a muscle holding your jaw up. The jaw always goes slack. You know, it's like that. When people die, they die with their mouths open. So I hate when I see somebody die in a movie. They've got their mouth closed. And, it's just like fingernails on a chalkboard or something. Because it's just logical that this muscle is no longer holding the jaw up. You know, it has to go slack. Peter Coyote's death in Ransom. Ransom. Harrison Ford? No, was it Harrison Ford? Okay, wrong movie. This is Harrison Ford and, say it again? No, it's not Ransom. It's, his wife is killed in a plane crash, and he finds out that she was cheating on him with this, Random Hearts, that's right. When they show his body on the slab on the video, I mean, he looks so, and Danny Trejo does a great death scenes, you know. Danny Trejo's resume says 11 years, San Quentin Drama Club. You know what I mean? All right, so, and he does great, when you see him dead in Heat, he looks dead, doesn't he? So I'm thinking, there's probably many times where he had to pretend he was dead. You know? So he does great. In fact, when I whipped him at Dusk Till Dawn, you know, I had just met Danny, and he's a scary guy. So I got to know him. He's a pussycat. He's just this mild-mannered, but he's just a scary-looking guy. So before I whipped him, he said, "Don't go showing off with that fucking whip. I'll kill you." And I got to whip him, so the first take I cracked him in the calf, and I thought I was going to be killed, you know. He's beautiful, a beautiful man, lovely wife, beautiful children. There's a great documentary on him called Champion, by the way. Yeah. But why did I go off on Danny Trejo here? Yeah. So that's what people die with their mouths open, and that's something else I got from my military experience. So when I see a badly performed death, it just aggravates the hell out of me. Yes, with the glasses, right? Think about that. If you're directing a movie, you're going to act them, you're going to make them look dead. You know, make them relax and open their mouth and their jaw, and maybe look sideways or something.
I really enjoyed watching them. I'm just curious how you came to be involved with it.
My agent got me that job. And I thought it was going to be crap. I thought it was going to be boring. But then they're doing this amazing stuff. I mean, not only do they have to know how to make food, you know, sugar candy and, you know, carved pumpkin and stuff, but they have to create a scenario that's going to win with a better imagination than the next team, you know. So anyway, tonight's the last night of that. You won't believe what they create tonight. Tonight's zombies. Okay. Yeah. Yes, dear. Oh, I didn't get you, did I? Well, I'll get you in a second. Go ahead. Ladies first. Here's your turn.
We're huge fans of Face Off. We watch every season, and I always love when they say, you know, she or he has gone to the Tom Savini School of Makeup.
Yeah.
Do you watch and do you find yourself critiquing the work,
Absolutely,
like picking it apart?
I don't miss an episode of that. The first season, 4 of the contestants were students from my school. And the second season 2, and then this last season 2 of them were contestants. And Face Off to me is very real in that these people have to create stuff fast. Okay, it's one thing to be good, it's another thing to be fast. In this business, you have to be good and fast. Okay, so that's very good and very real. Something very real thing about Face Off. You know, I was a judge on the second season. I didn't do the first season because I thought, well, what if there's people from other schools and they win? You know, I mean, how, you know, but they don't ever mention the school, so I did season 2. I'm probably gonna be back on because they've got 4 more seasons to go. You know? Yeah. Way back there, yeah. Yes, bathroom. That's how you remember names. Wait, let me try to associate. What's your name?
Tony.
Tony, okay. If I were just meeting him, the bathroom would stand out. So how would I memorize his name? Tony.
Okay, I got one for you. Tony, Anthony Perkins, Psycho, back, shower scene.
I'm actually Mrs. Bates from Psycho for Halloween. So.
Okay, cool. That's how you're supposed to memorize people's names when you meet them, you know, by something that stands out about them. Okay.
I got a question to ask you. Throughout the years, whatever happened to your props? Sort of like Fluffy and the Crypt from the Crypt Keeper guy from Creepshow. Whatever happened to those props?
Well, Fluffy is up in my attic. The Creep from Creepshow, well, that was just a makeup job. That wasn't really a puppet. But I get to keep all my stuff, you know. It's just part of my contract. And it's sad because there's absolutely nothing that exists from Dawn of the Dead. We were too busy making that movie. We didn't take any pictures. We didn't save any props, you know. But I learned since then to keep everything because it's worth a fortune today. I've got what have I still got? I've got Nate's corpse from Creepshow, Jason from Friday the 13th Part 4. I got a lot of that stuff. And Hollywood Treasures is coming to my place pretty soon. They want to get some of my stuff. So I don't know what I'm gonna give you yet, but. Still working? Mine on? Anybody else? Yes, way back there. You know what? You just take your table. Maybe that's why they want us in the light. Okay. Did he go away because am I going to get in trouble now? Savini didn't want to stand in the light.
Savini. He's so difficult.
No, because I have a reputation. I have a reputation for being an asshole at conventions.
And they laugh because you know it's true.
No, I challenge you. If anybody has had a bad experience here, tell me. No, but here's what happened. I'm in Texas. I'm sorry, I'll get your question in a second. But I'm in Texas and I'm signing autographs. And there's a friend of mine standing behind me, Rob Lucas, and he's on the phone with another one of my friends. So he taps me on the shoulder and he says, hey, I got Mac Neely phone. And I said, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. And I'm signing this photo for this girl. So she walks away from the table and she throws the picture back on the table. And then just stalks off. And I'm like, why the hell did she do that? And we're thinking, and then we realized she thought I was talking to her. To her it was, I don't want to talk to anybody right now as I'm signing the picture. And I'm talking to my friend behind me. So she starts a blog on the internet. So if you see the blog or if you hear from her, her name is Deidre, because we tried to find her. We couldn't find her. I was going to give her free stuff, explain to her that it would happen, you know. But she still thinks that I'm an asshole at conventions. And she's spreading these rumors everywhere. So, but tell her it was a mistake. I was talking to the guy behind me, and she's still welcome to a lot of free pictures if we ever find her. Sorry, go ahead.
Hi, I was just wondering, do you what makes a horror movie scary?
That's a good question. You know who answers that question in a whole book? Is Stephen King in a book called Danse Macabre, okay? And I'm rereading it now. And there's so many things, okay? First of all, when you go to a horror movie, it's like going to a haunted attraction. You know, you walk into a haunted attraction and you're looking around for what you think is going to scare you because you don't want to be scared. Too bad, you know? So, and we know this, okay, when we're making a horror movie, or like when I did my haunted attraction, Terramania, you know, we would have a room, a padded room with a body in a bed. There'd be a motor up in the ceiling making the bed, the body move. So you walk in, you think, oh, okay, that's going to get me. And you walk over to the wall. And we made the wall grab you. There's 3 guys behind the wall. And it would fuck you up psychologically because you weren't ready for that. Oh, no, I'm not going to fall. If I fall, it'll be a stunt.
There you go.
So, I think listen, I hate, here's the deal. So many horror movies, even big budget horror movies, they try to put what we call chair jumpers in there. And that's, something jumps up and says boo. A cat jumps through a window. Birds fly out of a box. Even the Wolfman movie, most of the scares in that were chair jumpers. It was like, birds. It wasn't even the Wolfman. It was something else to try to scare you, okay? Those are cheap scares. The best scares come from suspense, okay? So to me, a horror movie, well, you can almost call Argo a horror movie because the suspense is almost unbearable, the scares in that thing. So here's the deal. Here's a room, okay? There's a door on this end and there's a door on this end, okay? You show the monster behind this door, or the psycho, or the tentacled creature, or the deranged psychopath. You show or the bomb. You show the threat behind this door. Then, when the girl walks in this door, and it's usually a girl because it's a horror movie, right? As soon as she walks in, the scare has started. Because you can't wait for her to get to that door. You can't wait to see what's going to happen when she opens that door, and whatever's there does what it does, okay? And if you're a good director, you slow her down. The phone rings. Ah, fuck, okay? So, the entire time she's on that phone, the scare is still building. You can't wait for her to hang up that phone. The phone is getting in the way of your excitement, of your scare, okay? You can't wait for her to get to that door. So she hangs up and you go, ah, great. So and you slow her down again. Oh, I broke a nail or something. and it's unbearable. Now this is a scare. A chair jumper is what, 2 seconds? Now we're talking, 17, 20 seconds have gone by. But you can't wait too long, because if you wait too long, the audience goes, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care what happens. But if you time it right, it's all about timing in the good horror movies. She gets to the door finally, and she opens it, and there's nothing there. And then you go, oh. And that's when the monster jumps out, or the bomb goes off, or the creature grabs you. The best way to scare somebody is after you've made them laugh, or after you've made them open the door and their expectations are not there, and you surprise them with a jolt. But that jolt is also a chair jumper, but it comes out of suspense, okay? So, to me, what makes a great horror movie is suspense, and sometimes the chair jumper can be terrific. Anybody ever see the old House on Haunted Hill? Yes. That fucking woman in the wine cellar still messes me up when I see it. My hair just stands up. Why? You have to analyze that. You got to study where they're cutting from or how long that thing is still a brilliant. That's a chair jumper. But oh my God, that's what? But it does come out of suspense too, doesn't it? Because they're knocking on walls and moving around. Anyway, that to me is a prime example of what makes a horror movie great. Things like that. And any movie, not even a horror movie. You can see a bad movie, but if there's a couple of great moments in it, those are the things you remember. You remember that movie is good because of those moments, Yes. Yes, right there. In front of Elvira. Is that it? Elvira, you a man or a woman?
I'm a woman.
I'm sorry. No, it was the glasses that threw you.
I'm a girl.
Okay. Yeah, look, if you're going to be a Klingon, don't wear glasses, Or,
I want to be able to see you.
I'm sorry, what?
She wants to see you.
I know, you're going to take them off when you want to be a horror, right?
Yeah, right.
I do the same thing. Sorry, I interrupted your question. What, sorry?
You take your glasses off when you want to be a
I take off my glasses when I want to be a horror. Go ahead.
Oh, well, Mr. Savini, are there any projects that you look back on and say, man, I can't believe I was involved in that piece of crap?
Yeah, actually, there's 21 of them. No, I know that because me and my friends, we sat around and thinking of all the shit I've been in. And, one group of friends, we come up with like 11 of them, okay? Then the next group of friends, did I turn this on? I don't like the green one. So we come up with like 11 pieces of shit that I've been in. But then I sat with another group of friends at a restaurant and we come up with like 21 of them. I mean, we can start right now and start naming them, right? Children of the Living Dead, okay? That's one.
Lost Boys the Tribe.
Death Foretold. What? Give me another one.
Lost Boys the Tribe.
Lost Boys. Well, that first 10 minutes was good. The first 10 minutes of that was okay, but they did blow it. They really did blow it, that movie. See what I mean? Yes, I mean, I look back on a lot of that stuff, you know. The Ripper. Anybody see The Ripper? No. Please, if you see that in the video store, take it, like hide it in the documentary. Set it on fire.
The Ripper.
But listen, we've all done that. You know, Rick Baker has Octoman. You know, we've all done our share of that one. But you know, I have a business card with 37 of my movies on them, and they're all good ones. So let's see, 21 bad ones, 37 good ones. Pretty good average. No, but listen, some of them you do because, hey man, I want you to do this part. It's in Oklahoma. I'll give you 10 grand for one day. Okay, you know, you're there. You realize this, you know, that movies are forever. Yeah, that. Oh, here's the future.
And we'll have time for just this one last quick question because we are running out of time.
I apologize, Tom. I'll try to make this quick. But side note with Argo, Affleck, I did see it, and they did give Chaney credit at the end, a little blurb at the end, saying about his work and his contributions to Argo, and then he passed away. They said,
You mean Chambers?
Yeah, Chambers. I'm sorry. They said Lon Chaney Chambers. I got it mixed up. But
oh no, I know they did. The whole movie is about John Chambers.
Yeah, the whole thing and everything. But they gave him credit at the end. I did see it. It was
great. And all over YouTube now is the original article that they got to make them interested in making that movie. Yeah, but go on.
But also, Danny Trejo actually died in prison in The Hidden. I don't know if anybody remembers, but where he gets shot. He's a prisoner. It was one of his first roles, and he gets shot. He has the line, he goes, "Yo, hippie, what kind of dude are you?"
In The Hidden?
Trejo. Yeah, in Trejo, because Trejo's like talking to Clarence Felder. He's the alien. He turns around, and he's saying, like, "We can take over this planet if we want to, and nothing to stop us." And he's like, "Yo, hippie, what kind of dude are you?" You know, and so he just shoots him like 4 times, so he dies in prison. They also did show us Night of the Living Dead, your Night of the Living Dead and Romero's in elementary school. And it was like my favorite movie. I loved your version. We were all walking around going, yeah, they're dead, they're all messed up, and, like all through school for everything. It was for Halloween in elementary school, or not in middle school, but still, like 13-year-old people. I just wanted to say, my question is about working on Friday the 13th.
Which one? I did 2 of them. I did.
Working on the first one mainly with Sean Cunningham and Kevin Bacon. The terrain, working in that, in the woods and everything, and also the appliance for Kevin Bacon, the Arrow appliance.
Yes.
How was all that?
Well, actually, it wasn't an appliance on Kevin Bacon. It was a whole fake body. Kevin Bacon just simply put his head where his head should be on the neck, and we were under the bed, sticking the arrow through. And then an interesting accident happened while we were doing that. My assistant was pumping the blood into the neck area before the arrow comes through, and the tube came off the blood pump. So he grabbed it and blew into it, and that's why the blood shoots out of Kevin's neck. So that would not have happened if that accident happened. That didn't happen. So that was cool. So I'm like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I'm like 1. Thank you so much.
Turn on the internet, they're gonna do dropping loads.
Hey, Dave, fuck you.